everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here today. In today's video, we're going to talk about which Cricut is right for you. We're going to go over all of their different features, all of their different blades, all things all about each of the Cricuts. We are going to go over the Joy Extra, the Cricut Explorer Air 2, the Cricut Explorer 3, the Maker, and the Maker 3. So without further ado, let's get started. The first thing that I want to go over is what all of your Cricut machines will share in common. The first thing that they all share is that they can all be connected via Bluetooth, meaning that you don't have to have the USB cord going from the machine to your computer or your device that you're using. And that's one thing that they all share in common. Another thing is that all of the machines have the ability to cut things like cardstock, HTV, and vinyl, but the larger machines can cut more, which we will go over in a little bit. All of the machines do have the ability to work with a foil tool, but the Joy does need a different type, but it is still a foil tool. And same with the pens. All of the machines can write or draw, but again, the Cricut Joy is going to need a different type of pen. It's a different size, and same with the Joy Extra. And again, we'll go over all of that in more detail in the future, but all the machines do share some similarities. We're going to start with our smallest Cricut, which is the Cricut Joy. The Cricut Joy max cut size is 4.5 inches by 4 feet in length, and this can cut items like vinyl, cardstock, and HTV. This has no buttons on it. Everything is controlled from the device that you're using it with, so it is fully Bluetooth. There is no way to connect this to your machine via a wire or a USB cord. This has one single tool holder, so anytime you change out a tool, whether it is a pen or the foil tool, you will need to open up the clamp, take out the fine point blade, and replace that for whatever tool that you want to use. Now, this machine does work with the smart materials, meaning that these machines can cut off matte. Smart materials are available pretty much from Cricut or from TechWrap, and I'll link some smart materials down below if you'd like to check those out. This machine is small, but she's pretty mighty. The Cricut Joy Extra is our next machine. This has a max cutting size of 8.5 inches by 4 feet. And again, this can cut items like vinyl, cardstock, HTV, and lots of printable products as well. This actually is our first machine in the sizing that offers us a print and cut option. This also works with those smart materials, meaning that you can cut off matte with it. But again, this only has the one tool holder, but it does share the same tools with the Cricut Joy. This item, you'll notice, kind of has those guides on the side, and that is to allow us to use those smart materials off matte. This is also Bluetooth only, so you're not able to connect this any other way. You can see right here is the matte reading sensor for our Cricut Joy Extra. It will actually measure your materials since it does the off matte cutting. And then it also has the sensor built into the carriage for your print then cut. And again, this is our tool holder. It uses a fine point blade, and then you can use a foil tool. There are pens for this machine, so this is a really great little one, but again, it's a little bit smaller than some of the larger machines. Cricut Explorer Air 2 is one of the older machines, but this machine is really nice. It can connect via Bluetooth or USB, and it also has a little door here, and that little door is for any of the cartridges that you might have from some of the older machines made by Cricut. This machine also comes with this dial, which is how you can set your different cut settings, but I always recommend just leaving it on custom because that's going to allow you to select any cut setting that you want to. This is also our first machine where we're going to see some buttons, which include the load, the Cricut button, the power button, and the pause button as well. This machine can write, draw, foil, print and cut, and you can also cut fabric with this. This also is available with a deep point blade for some thicker materials like foam, etc. Our max cutting size with the Cricut Explorer Air 2 is 11.5 inches by 23.5 inches. This can cut so many different materials, and it can even cut wood veneer, which is a very, very thin wood. Now this has some little doors for storage, a great place to store some extra blades or your tools in it, but this machine cannot cut off matte. You have to use a mat with the Cricut Explorer Air 2 or the Cricut Explorer. Those are basically going to be the same machines. You'll see here you have some tabs where your mat slides under, and then you also have your roller bars. This has 2 tool clamps for different tools, and you'll see that we have all of these little pieces. Right under there is where your sensor is for your print then cut, which is built into the Cricut Explorer. Clamp A is going to be for your pens, and clamp B will be for things like your foil tool, your fine point blade, your deep point blade, and your fabric bonded blade. The Cricut Maker is a machine that is no longer manufactured by Cricut, but you can still find some in craft stores, brand new in the box, or you can always buy them used. Now this item can do cutting, print and cut, it can engrave, score, perforate, it has a wavy tool, a debossing tool, and a rotary tool, so it can do a lot of things. The max cut size on this is 11.5 inches by 23.5 inches, and in order to open it, you just lift open the lid and the bottom door will open. Now this one has a large compartment in the front. It's not 2 separate pieces like it is with the Explorer, so you're going to have just one big compartment to hold everything. We also have a couple of buttons. We have the power, the load, the Cricut, which is the go button, and a pause button. And this also has a built-in holder on the back, like a little divot, and that's perfect for your iPad or your phone if you're running this with the Cricut app. Now this one does not have the ability to cut off mat, so you'll notice that the door is completely smooth, but you'll see that you have the little tabs where your mat needs to go under. We also have 2 tool holders in here. Clamp A is for your pens, and clamp B is for all of the other tools, all of the other blades, and your fine point blade. And you'll notice that there is a gold gear, and that's how we use some of those quick swap housing tools like the perforation tool and the scoring wheel and the wavy tool, all of those different tools. To close it, you just lift up the bottom door and then you can close the top door. These are notorious for the doors to break, and mine is broken. The Cricut Explorer 3 is a newer machine to the Cricut lineup. This machine comes in one single color, and it is this kind of matte light blue. This machine can cut, score, write and draw, foil, print and cut, and it works with the deep point blade and the fabric blade. The open button is this little dotted button here on the top of the machine. All you simply do is press that button and it will open. Now you'll notice that this one, unlike the Explorer Air 2, does not have the space for the cartridges, so that's one big change between this and the Explorer Air 2. But you'll see in general it's very, very similar. Now you'll notice that there are tabs on the door on the Explorer 3. That is for the Cricut roll holder because this machine can cut off mat. The max size for cutting off mat on this machine is 11.7 inches by 12 feet. But you can also use a mat with it, and it can cut 11.5 inches by 23.5, and this works with smart materials. Now again, it's very similar to the original Explorer. The doors are the same. You're not going to see a lot of differences until you start looking at things like the buttons. Those are a little bit different. But first, let's take a look at the carriage. Again, very similar. You've got clamp A for your pens, and then clamp B will hold things like your fine point blade, your deep point blade, foiling tool, things like that. And the fine point blade is exactly the same as it is in the Explorer Air 2. This machine also has the little tabs where your mat goes, but you can see it's pretty similar to the Explorer Air 2. You have no dial on this one, so you would select your material settings from the Cricut Design Space setting, just like you do any other time. The Cricut Maker 3. Now it's important to note that there is no Cricut Maker 2. They skipped right to the 3. And it's important to also note that this machine only comes in this one color, very similar to the Cricut Explorer 3. Now this machine is able to cut off mat, and its max cutting size off mat is 11.7 inches by 12 feet. But you can still use your mat with a max cut size of 11.5 inches by 23.5 inches. This does work with smart materials, and it does work with the Cricut roll holder. This also works with all of the same tools as the other Cricut Maker, meaning that you can use the perforation tool, the wavy tool, the debossing tool, the scoring wheel, the foil tool, plus it works with all the pens and the rotary tool to cut fabric. This machine has the 2 carriages as well, one ready for your pens and the other one ready for all of your blades and your tools. You can see that we have the rubber roller wheels, we have our white star wheels, and we have the tabs for our mat. This also just has the simple buttons of power, load, go, and pause. And it also has the little divot for your smart devices like your iPads or your phones, all of those types of things. That way you can sit them right there on the Maker and it's really easy access. Now in the carriage, you also have the sensor for your print and cut. And with this one, you'll notice that there is a gold gear behind the tool here. And that is for those smarter tools, for those perforation ones and the ones with the quick swap housing. The Cricut Maker 3 is definitely one of their newer machines that does the most as far as cutting. Now, in my personal opinion, they say that it's faster, but I only found it to be faster on smart materials. To close the machine, simply lift that front door and then close the top door. This one also is going to have that same mechanism as the Maker, and I think it's going to break pretty quick. The Cricut Joy requires specific sized mats, and those mats come in the different types, the strong grip, the standard grip, the light grip, and the fabric grip, but you can also get a card mat to use, and it also comes in 2 different lengths. But you need to make sure that you use the correct mat for the correct machine. So if you have a Cricut Joy, you will need to purchase the Cricut Joy mats, as that is the only mat that can fit into that machine. These are the mats for your Cricut Joy Extra. The Cricut Joy mats don't fit in the Joy Extra, but you can get a card mat for this one, as well as all of the other different types, the fabric, the standard, and the light grip mat. And keep in mind, you don't have to buy Cricut brand mats to use these. I like to use a lot of off-brand mats for this, and I'll link some of my favorite ones down below that I think work a lot better than the Cricut brand. These larger mats are going to work in your Explore series, which is the Explore Air 2 and the Explore 3, plus your Maker series, which is the Maker and the Maker 3 machines. These ones specifically are 12 by 12, but you'll see some other ones in just a minute. But this also offers a 2x2 card mat for those machines as well. Keep in mind, these are only going to work in the larger machines and won't work for any of the Joy series machines. These are the large 12 by 24 mats that are again going to work with your Explore machines and your Maker machines. These come in all of the different grip types, including strong grip, fabric grip, light grip, and your standard grip mats. And these are important if you want to do larger projects. Here is an overview of the tools that will work with your Cricut Maker and your Maker 3. We have the knife blade and our rotary tool. You'll note the gold gear on the top of these. These are not part of the quick swap housing tool set. Now we have a scoring wheel and a double scoring wheel as numbers 1 and 2. 11 is our perforation tool. 21 is the debossing tool. 31 is your wavy tool, and 41 is your engraving. And this is our quick swap housing piece. You'll notice that it has a button at the top, and that allows us to release and to put our tools on to the end of that. When you place that into your Cricut machine, you want to make sure that you have those gold gears lined up. But you can see there is a vast amount of tools that you can use with the Maker, and who knows, they may come out with more because it's able to do a little bit more due to pressure and a stronger motor. But there is a bunch of tools that you can get for your Cricut Maker and Maker 3. These 4 blades are blades that work with both the Maker series and the Explore series. We have the foil tool, which has 3 different tips. The deep point blade, which is a little bit of a shorter housing. The fine point blade, which is the housing that comes with your machine. And then we also have the fabric bonded blade, which is this pink one right here. The Cricut Joy requires a specific sized pen, and this is for the Cricut Joy and the Joy Extra. You'll notice that many of the Joy products only say Joy, but they do work for the Extra as well, as they share the exact same housing. You can get many colors and types of pens for the Joy, but you just need to make sure that it's the correct type of pen and labeled for your Cricut Joy. The Cricut Maker and Explorer actually share the same type of pens, so that's the nice thing with these machines is they're really interchangeable. There are tons of different types of pens, shapes of pens, styles of pens that you can get for your Explorer and your Maker. This is just a quick little look at all the ones that I have, and you can see they wanted to roll away. But there are so many that you can get, so this offers you a lot of variety, which I think is really nice if you're looking into getting a Cricut and using it for writing. The Maker and the Explorer are fantastic. So how do you know which machine is right for you? The first thing you want to think about is your budget, and the second thing you want to think about is what do you really want to do with your machine. Each of the machines offers something different for everybody. I personally think if your budget allows it, get the machine that does the most, which is going to be your Maker or your Maker 3. If you're a little more on the budget side, but you still want to be able to do a lot of things, the Explorer Air 2 and the Explorer 3 are great options. But if you need something that's really compact, you don't have a lot of space, and you're not really wanting to cut any thick or heavy materials or do any kind of really heavy duty stuff, the Joy and the Joy Extra are great options. Every machine has its pros and cons, and I think it's important that you really look inside yourself and figure out what you want to do. I'd hate for you to purchase a machine and find out that it doesn't do what you need it to do or want it to do, and then you have to go out and buy something else. Now, if you have any questions, please let me know in those comments down below. If I didn't cover something and you'd like some more info, again, let me know. I'm always happy to answer any questions that you may have and help guide you in any way that I can. I've put links down below for each of the machines if you'd like to check them out and get a little more information from the Cricut website. And then I've also linked down below a few videos that I think might be a little helpful for you if you're looking into getting a Cricut. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.